Good evening, guys. It's Stephen here. The day after City's 2-1 loss against Man United. A very painful, very real, very agonising loss against Manchester United Football Club. It's been over 24 hours now. We've had an awful lot of talking. I've done a video this morning with Asan. If you haven't caught that, I would recommend you go and watch it. I pretty much woke up and smelled the coffee, really. I think sometimes you can deny things. You can hope for the best. And then sometimes you can sort of accept reality. I'm in the acceptance stage of the stages of grief. I'm pretty much there now, I think. And I know where we are. I'm pretty calm about it, but I know where City are now, and unfortunately we're not in the best place. That's relatively fine. It happens. We have to accept that and move on. But it's going to be hard to take for a while until we get used to this. You know, we get used to this inevitability of where City are and who we are, and it's just that's life. That is life, and we've got plenty to talk about, you know. I did want to say I am sponsored by Proton VPN. You know, I wish that this video was being brought to you in more positive circumstances, and I could talk about Proton VPN in a good spot. Sadly, of course, it's all a bit negative right now, but I would implore you to check out that out. If you are looking for a VPN, Proton VPN is absolutely wonderful. It's a fantastic, secure, fast and brilliant VPN. If you don't know what VPN basically is, a virtual private network, which means you can access internet streaming service from anywhere around the world. You can set your location to be, if you're in England, you can set it to be in China or America or wherever. And he's over 111 countries or something like that involved in Proton VPN. You can scan the QR code there, by the way, and it's 64% off, and it starts from $3.59 a month. It'll be obviously different currency in England. Price of a cup of coffee, basically. And it's a phenomenal VPN. It really is. PC Mag, absolutely love it there. Incredibly positive about it. It's developed by literal people from CERN and MIT. So it's very, very impressive. You can get a deal now, €3.59, €3.59 a month, which is a cracking deal, by clicking the link in the description below. And you can watch all the rest of the City's games or the Premier League in a different place, or you can log into Netflix in a different country, whatever you want to do. Scan the QR code on screen, help support my channel a little bit massively, get yourself a cracking deal. Do it right now with the QR code, or click the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Brilliant stuff. Smooth streaming. He's got the sort of ad blocker in the malware blocker, live customer support, you know, advanced encryption, simple setup. You can use it on your phone. Wonderful stuff, as you can see here. It just very easy to use, you know. Log in on your phone, dead easy, dead straightforward, and you can just change the location and all that kind of stuff, dead easy. So there we go. Anyway, guys, let's talk about Manchester City. Let's talk about what went wrong yesterday. Let's talk about the mood. Do let me know in the chat how you're feeling. 115 definitely was on the mind, by the way. Yeah, do let me know how you're feeling about it. The first thing I want to talk about, sadly, is this. That I think we have to admit it now. I've admitted it personally. You don't have to agree. But I've accepted it that this isn't temporary right now. What I mean by that is I don't think a few players coming back suddenly changes every issue in the squad. I think there are some players that could make us play better. But I think we are at a balance, and we are reliant on certain people too much. We're too reliant on certain people. I think the decline, sadly, I think it's real. I think we have to accept that there are crushing problems in this side. We would get better, you know, if certain players found form. Foden and Rodri was there, absolutely. But I think the plasters have been pulled off the cut, and it's a big gaping wound. And I think Rodri and Foden sort of carried us quite a lot last season, if we're being totally honest. You know, and Kevin De Bruyne coming back. I've come to the acceptance that there is a dip in quality and mentality in this squad. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that in the next point, but I do feel that we can't ignore this anymore, that this goes way beyond some injuries. This goes down to a core fundamental problem that we have to accept and acknowledge as fans, that there is a genuine crisis going on here at Manchester City. And it's very much, I think, a reaction to everything we've been through. I do think this squad is tired. I do think this squad is sort of threadbare and under-equipped. And I do think some of these players have given just too much to Manchester City. And I don't know how far they can go again. I just don't know if they can go again. I think some of these are just absolutely spent, unfortunately. And it's wild to say this, given that, it's Gary Neville saying this, but there was a quote from him on Twitter that I saw earlier, and I'll bring it up right now. I think he's absolutely bang on, unfortunately, to say this about Gary Neville, but Gary Neville said, City are serial winners. Pep Guardiola is one of the greatest managers of all time. They played a believable system, been reliable. Everything you'd want in a football team, these players have delivered. But they've all come to a point in their journey together where something needs to change and they need a rest. This is time to say, well done for what you've achieved over the last few years. This is something that happens when you've just gone too far together and you basically hit a wall. I think this is what's happened. I think Neville is right. I think Manchester City have hit a wall, It's one of those things where City right now, this is the quote I was actually looking for. Neville said, I thought he'd come last year. I thought after treble there'd be a natural dip, but you can't keep going. You cannot keep going. You need to somehow have a break. They're playing in finals, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, winning Premier Leagues. They've gone playing for their countries every single month nearly. Then they're going to play in most summers, only getting 3 weeks break. These players have been together so long on that journey. They've just come to an end of that journey as a group. 1, 2 or 3 or many of them have to leave. 3 or 4 will come in. You'll see a different City through these changes. Neville is absolutely bang on. And the point I'm making here is that sadly, once again, the decline is real. I think, unfortunately, we can't dress it up anymore. I know I've been on the positive side. I don't feel any guilt about being more positive. I'm a positive person, and I always give the board the benefit of the doubt. And can I just address something anyway? I see a lot of people calling people out saying, where were you saying this 5 months ago? Or you didn't say this 5 months ago, Captain Hindsight or whatever. What's wrong with that? Like, what is fundamentally wrong with being positive until proven otherwise? Like, you don't have to know everything in advance. There's nothing wrong with trusting people and assessing afterwards. Like, there's such a negativity around changing your opinion for some reason. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with that, man. And I must admit, I don't think look, you're. One thing I will say, you're an absolute liar if you thought we'd win one game. We'd go on a run where we only won one game in 11. No one thought that. I know a lot of people thought we'd be battling for top 4, but that's still much worse. This is much worse than that ever would be. This is the worst form in the league. So, I think, sadly, I've come to the acceptance that, yeah, the decline is real. I think there's a drop in quality. I think the players are too tired. I think some players are too old. I think we've missed some transfers, and I think there is a genuine drop-off, unfortunately. Which leads me to my second point, is that, look, I was chatting to Asan earlier, and I think he's bang on. Too many players in this Manchester City side need protecting. They do. Too many are way past their best, and too many in this side are there to be covered by others. Like, we're adding players to add attributes to others. I'm going to do a little thought thing. I'm going to go to the Champions League final. I'm going to go to the Champions League final here. Where is it? Where's the lineup? So Manchester City's lineup. What's going on here? Why is it? I don't want to watch it, mate. Just show me the actual game. Okay, I want to see the Champions League final. Here we go. I'm going to show you the team. There's the team there. Who has been protected there at any point? Ederson, no. You trust Ruben Diaz at the best. You trust Nathan Ake is best. You trusted Akanji. You absolutely trusted Rodri. John Stones is in impeccable form. Like, Ruben Ake had that left side down on lock. Akanji had that right side down on lock. John Stones was absolutely bossing the midfield. Ruben Diaz was a rock. Jack Grealish was at his sort of infuriating, controlling best. He had it on lock. Bernardo Silva was playing majestically on the right. You had it on lock. You trusted him. You had that side covered. When Kyle Walker was on the pitch, you had that right side covered. Kevin De Bruyne was a genius. Foden was playing great. Gundogan was his very best. He's just scored. He just won us an FA Cup final with 2 wonderful goals. Haaland was the player of the year that year, really, if we're being honest. So everyone you trusted now. You trusted every single player in that team. And then we had the quality of Alvarez, Laporte, Mahrez, Cole Palmer, you could argue. But we had quality on the bench. Obviously, Foden came on as well, Kyle Walker. We had a lot of quality. And I look at Manchester City now, sadly, and I don't see that same quality where I look at players and go, well, he's carrying him. They're all carrying each other. There's too many players, and I go to the lineup now, once again, there's too many players that I just... Ederson's form's not great. I mean, Núñez isn't, obviously he's there because he has to be, but like, we're carrying Kyle Walker. Gundogan hasn't got any legs around him. We're carrying Kevin De Bruyne's legs because he can't run. Doku hasn't got a great end product, so we have to lean on someone else for the end product. Bernardo Silva doesn't have any creativity down the right at all whatsoever. So there's a lot of plays that we're carrying them, unfortunately. And then when you look at the bench right now, Jack doesn't offer a goal threat. Kovacic probably needs support defensively because he's not a 6. I like Kovacic, but he does. Savinho, he's not providing a goal threat. So someone else has to sort of step up there because he can't do it. When we play Rico Lewis, he looks like he needs some physicality around him. Simpson Pusey's a young lad. We're trying to constantly, sort of step up for people, unfortunately. And I don't have that sense of invincibility around the team. And I think Asan's bang on to point that out. Too many players in this team and in the starting 11, they need protecting for their own good, be it their fitness, be it their minutes, be it that they lack attributes. And I can't deny that anymore. Which sort of brings me to the next point, unfortunately. I don't think it's just a case of injuries. I think we need starting 11 quality. I think we need to make signings now that don't just improve the squad, that improve the 11. I think we've gone to that point. This isn't a squad rebuild. This is a team rebuild now, unfortunately. I know it sounds quite dramatic, but I think when you consider everything we just talked about, some players just don't have the legs anymore. Some players have gone too long, have reached the end of the cycle, as Neville was saying. I think we need a real big injection of quality. You look at the 17-18 transfer window where we signed Edison, we signed Kyle Walker, we signed Danilo, we signed Mendy as well, of course, but at that time it was a big signing. We signed Bernardo Silva, then we signed Gabriel Jesus a few months before that. So it's one of those things. By the way, thanks for the continuous views, Lazy Killer United fan who's jumping on. You don't understand what stay humble meant, by the way, in that instance, because Haaland, by the way, meant it because he was at the top and he was winning and is telling them to stay humble. It's different. It's different entirely. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thanks for the views, mate. Appreciate it. So I do think, unfortunately, when I look around the team, once again, I think we need a right back. We need a centre-back, arguably, because one of Stones and Ake is probably going to go. We probably need an actual left-back as well, because Guardiola needs support, presuming Ake might not be available. We definitely need 2 midfielders. You could argue that we need a 6 and an 8, maybe a 10. We need a backup striker. And I honestly feel like we could do with 4, 5 starter level. We need potentially a 10 as well if De Bruyne is going. We need another 8 if Gundogan can't play as much. We need a backup number 6. Maybe a winger, a goal-scoring winger. And that's not to say we can't still do a job, but I don't think this squad, by the time Rodri's back as well, you've got to remember that Rodri coming back would make us better, but some of these players, by the time Rodri's back to his best, will be 8 months older. And I just don't know if they'll be good enough by then. So I think we have to accept. Now, I don't think it's a manager, Rissy. I think any manager that came in would have the exact same problems with this squad, mate. I just don't. I think you don't get rid of Guardiola that quickly, but I think there's a real urge for new starting 11 quality. I think there is, sadly. That's not to say that some of these players aren't brilliant, aren't useful. Absolutely, we've got to add that caveat, They are quality players still. But there is. I look at Lazy Killer's there. He's actually contributing, saying Morris Doku biggest downgrade essentially. It's not the biggest downgrade ever, because it isn't. He's still a good player, but Doku is not. We've got players in the team that are playing every week that are just. They're not the high level that I've been used to, and maybe they could be one day. But I love Rico Lewis, but he shouldn't be starting every single day. He shouldn't be starting. He's not. The only reason he's doing it is because of the injuries. But I think the backup should be better as well. I don't think Nunes is good enough. You know how I feel about this. I think the backup should be better than Nunes. Previously, Mahrez was a backup. Gundogan, Foden. Look who was on the bench in the Champions League final. Laporte, Kyle Walker, Foden, Mahrez. That's the quality that we used to have on the bench. We need better than that. Doku should not be a starter for City right now. He's a prospect still. And I really like Doku. I really do. But he's not that level in my personal opinion. I think I think Savinho isn't there. These guys should be the young backups that you switch around. I want some players at their elite very best. And then you've got De Bruyne. We have to accept he's moving on. Gundogan, Haaland, absolutely. Look, it's. it's a very honest situation that I think we have to accept. Like, I go back to the first point. The decline, sadly, is real. The second point, too many players in our team need protecting. We haven't got the leaders that are going to... We haven't got the bastards in the team that are going to do it. And the starting 11 quality is dipping. The fourth thing I want to talk about, thankfully, and this is a positive, the last two are probably reasonably positive. The fourth thing I want to talk about is that I have actually... We've noticed a change in tone from Pep Guardiola. And I do think these... You all right, Ruben? I can hear his son downstairs. And I do feel... like, the change in tone from Guardiola is particularly pertinent. I think Guardiola has always talked a lot about, giving me my players back. Sorry, my son wants to come and say hello to me. I've lost my train of thought entirely now. What was I talking about? Yeah, we were talking... It's so hard to say no to adorable to you, by the way. But I do think I'm have to just... There'll be an interlude here. But Pep's talking about he talks a lot about giving my players back, but he's actually come out and just criticised himself. Just be careful, Ruben, going up the stairs, yeah.
That's what Pep's saying.
Yeah, Pep's saying be careful. Ruben's saying be careful when he comes up the stairs. So these quotes from Guardiola, I think are interesting. Because he said, I am the manager of these players, I'm the manager of this club, I have to find solutions. So far I didn't. This is the truth. Come on, he's very distracted. Be quicker, please. Because I can't hear myself. Yeah. Come into Dad. Ruben wants to say hello. Sorry. Ruben wants to say hello. You say hi, guys. Say hi, guys. You say Pep needs to sign someone. Say sign players, Pep. Anyway. So it's a lot easier. I can actually do better when he's on me. We're supposed to talk up the stairs. So yeah. You want the little monkey's going in there. Leave Ruben to it. You can go behind there. You can't see me. That's fine. It's 8:15. What's he doing?
He's been eating.
Anyway, I've totally forgot my points. I'm so...
Pep's tone's changed.
Yeah, so basically, Guardiola, previously he's talked about, he's been defensive. And he's come out and said he's just sort of not good enough, this is very, very... He said, not much to say, no defence. They were incredibly persistent. We've lost 8 games in 2 seasons. We can't defend that. It's not about this or that player. We gave away goals. That's our fault. We don't play with composure. The results are not good enough, and the game was not exceptional. That is a massive change of tack from Guardiola. He said, we're not being used to losing this much. Game was in our hands, says Phil. And look, it's nice for me to see a change of tact. And Guardiola even mentioned as well in the press conference that maybe... the squad is too small, that maybe we need more players, that Chelsea have got a bigger, Hey, Ruben, my son loves me to pieces because I'm a phenomenal dad, I'll be honest. Yeah. He can't stay away from me.
He can't hear your voice and not come to you.
Yeah, but basically, I do think Pep's... I think the fact that Pep's changed his tone, that he's admitted that maybe we need a bigger squad, that he's admitted that there may be more games, that he's admitted that actually it's not good enough and it's not about the players. And it isn't. At some point in the injuries... You can't keep pointing to that. Like, this is far too bad a run of form. This got Gary O'Neill sacked, and he manages Wolves, and he had a better run of form than this. Mummy, can you follow him? This is unbelievably distracting.
Right, come on, let's go get ready.
I'll be down in a minute, mate. I'll be down in a minute. Just... and anyway, I'm really sorry about this. And anyway, I think the fact that Pep's changed, to me, is it's a good sign. It's a good sign. And I think he's realising. And I think that would lead to transfers maybe in January, you would hope. This is a sponsored video, by the way, so I would quite politely request some professional stuff here. The final point I keep forgetting where I'm at, so sorry, my son's distracting me massively. Final point I want to talk about is that I think City do need to remain calm. And I think we all need to remain calm. This is incredibly frustrating. It really absolutely is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is good. It's bad. Yeah, sorry, Wimbe said you sacked Ruben, unfortunately, mate. I like... It's very hard to be angry about football, by the way, when I've got a son as adorable as mine. I'm very lucky. It's just very true, because he's wonderful. But anyway... I do think we need to remain calm. I think Neville, weirdly, is right to point out that City have got credit in the bank here and that this is the inevitable cycle. There is going to be a bad season. This is incredibly painful. It really is. The only thing I would say is that the fact that it's so exceptionally painful, and it is exceptionally painful, probably drastic results require drastic solutions. Usually, I'm expecting City to. They can't have not noticed this. The whole world's noticed it. They will be making plans right now. They'll be planning to move people on. They absolutely will. They'll be planning to let certain players go and back Pep Guardiola, and I think they'll be ruthless, man, because this has been an embarrassing slap across the face, and it's a very real risk that that they're going to miss out on Champions League football. And someone said remain calm, stop it. You know what I mean by that is trust that they'll fix it. That's what I mean. And I think they will do. This isn't the time to throw everyone out in the bin and say everything's shit and we're a terrible team, blah, 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 blah. We are playing awfully right now. But I'm calm because I know it's so drastic that it's inexcusable to avoid it and ignore it. And I think they'll go aggressive on trying to fix it. I think Pep's changed his views. I think Pep understands that actually some of these players, the sentimentality is not helping him at all. I think Pep's very attached to these players, which is because it served him so well over time. But right now, I think he's going to have to accept that the time is over. He loves these guys, but some of them have got to move on. Some of them have tried to move on. Bernardo, Kyle, Edison, and he's kept them. And I don't know if it's a good thing. Because I'm not sure if it sends the right message, unfortunately. I think we have to move on. And it's going to be a big summer. Some players will stay, some senior players. But that's where we're at. Guys, thanks very much for watching this video. Once again, please do check out Proton VPN. It's a cracking deal, 64% off right now. A VPN allows you to use the internet freely around the world. It's the fastest VPN. It's got the VPN accelerator, which means your connections will not be too slow. Scan that QR code right now or click the link in the live chat or in the description below. It's wonderful. It's highly recommended, and it's 64% off right now, so you get yourself a cracking deal. For essentially the price of a cup of coffee, you can get access to the world's internet and use streaming services all around the world. It's great for Netflix. We've been using it to log in and watch shows in different countries. It's great. And don't forget, you can watch Premier League football in different countries. Get a VPN, sign up to a VPN somewhere, sign up to Premier League football somewhere else. And I think in India it's really cheap, so find a way to do it there. Guys, thanks very much for watching. Give this video a like if you don't mind. Go watch the video with Asan. I promise you. Yeah, it's lawnmower on the ground is Ruben's analysis there. I did a video earlier with Asan, and it's really, really good. I promise you. There it is there. That one was Asan. It's fantastic. Asan is a fantastically concise and intellectual talker, and he's real as well. In a bit. Tractors is Ruben's input. Bye-bye. Do you know what? We do need a tractor because we're going to need some major surgery on this side. Gonna have to shift the dirt. Gonna have to sow new seeds. You know what else, Ruben? What else about tractors? A blue one. A blue one. We do need a blue tractor. Bye bye.